Well, in this week's episode of WealthWise, Leno Corporate Services has some cautionary words about the dangers of credit cards. Here's Amajal Knowles with the details.
An important part of learning to be wealth-wise is learning how to use credit cards properly so that we don't incur unnecessary personal debt. Cleora Farquharson, Vice President of Business Development and Client Relations at Leno Corporate Services, explains the current worrisome personal debt situation in the Bahamas.
Unfortunately, in the Bahamas, we've become a society of spenders as opposed to savers. If you were to look at the central bank's latest report, their December 23 quarterly statistics, it showed that the personal debt levels in this country it makes up the biggest private sector credit. It's about 73%, or it increased about 30 million from the same period last year. And all that beautiful thing is saying is we have too much debt levels. And credit card is one of the biggest debt that Bahamians have.
Mrs. Farquharson tells us why she believes this is happening and explains how using credit cards improperly can increase personal debt that could take us years to repay.
And I think it's the ease of getting a credit card. You know, and I tell persons, honestly, you just need one credit card. There's no need for persons to have 2 and 3 because that is not your money, and the banks charge you a lot of funds to actually use it. And where a lot of persons run into problems is they get the credit cards and they choose to pay only the minimum. And you know, I don't know if you realize is that if you have a $1,000 credit balance, it's going to take you 30 years and 2 months to pay back, and it's going to cost you about $2,500. If you have a balance of about $5,000, it's going to cost you almost $9,000 and 40 years to pay back. And that's where the banks made their money, right? It's because you choose to only pay the minimum amount, and then the interest rates are so high.
What can someone do to avoid this kind of long-term high-interest personal debt?
What I tell persons is to manage your debt. You know, as opposed to using a credit card, use a debit card because that's your own funds. When you get caught up in that cycle of debt repayment, it's very, very difficult to come out.
If I want to have a credit card, how do I choose what's best for me?
First and foremost, make sure you need it. Make sure you go and you shop around for the best rates. Make sure, for me, I use my credit cards to earn points, to pay for travel, etc. So you want to make sure your credit card is offering you the best. But the key is, you use those credit cards really for financial emergency.
How is Leno helping to eliminate this growing problem of personal debt caused by the misuse of credit cards so that we can achieve wealth wisdom?
We are very, very concerned about the health of the nation in terms of their finances. What we do is to help those persons. We make free budgeting and financial sessions available to persons. The key is understanding and knowing where you are financially. We'll do that at Leno. We'll help you get there. We'll cut down your debt, and then we'll identify savings. You use those savings to pay down more debt or to save for retirement, etc., and then have the financial freedom you deserve.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Amajal Knowles.